Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Erica, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Happy Monday. I hope all is well, and I hope your day has gotten off to a great start. And for all the lovers out there, I hope you had an amazing Valentine's Day. I am here, of course, to do my weekly review of Married to Medicine. Of course, this is season 12. It was episode 10, and it was called Med Gala Payback. Now, guys, we are already halfway through Married to Medicine season. And they've done a great job. I don't know about you. I've enjoyed every episode up to this point. They've had a pretty flawless season. Season 10 wasn't that great. Season 11 wasn't really any better, but I can see a lot of improvements even with the new girls this season. So let's get into it. So the girls are still on they're still on their girls trip. It's a continuation from last week. They are actually headed on a boat ride, and we know that one thing about Married to Medicine, that is sort of like their thing. They always have a boat ride, whether it's on a girls trip or whether it's on a couples trip. But this particular time, they are headed on a boat ride on Dr. Contessa's girls trip. They got on a boat called Soliana. It was really, really nice. They had food, drinks, music, definitely my type of vibes. Loved it. But you know, on Married to Medicine, we sort of get dual scenes. So we got a scene with the men. The men were actually, they were going out. I don't know if Dr. Eugene planned the event. Initially, I thought it was just going to be Dr. Eugene and King. But then as time went on, all of the men started like trickling in. So we saw, you know, King, we saw Steve, we saw a Shamar, we saw you know, everyone was sort of, like I said, all the men were like trickling in. We saw Cecil, we saw Curtis and Scott. Curtis actually was joking around with Scott, sort of like guiding him in, because Scott actually revealed that he had glaucoma. So I don't know if he had just had a procedure done or whatever, but he had his glasses on, but he did tell us that he had glaucoma. So we see all of the guys, and even Dr. Damon came. We saw all of the guys come in. They were having a good time. So I think Dr. Eugene or one of them, they normally they got the conversation kicked off. They were just talking about what was going on. They discussed how the men were handling the women not being there. I think Dr. Eugene asked Scott, how was he doing with the kids? But Scott just said, hey, his kids are getting older, so it's pretty cool. They pretty much do their own thing. Steve said that he's not taking it too well. Mimi is definitely missed. He can't wait for her to get back. Of course, we know that Steve and Mimi have a child with special needs, so I'm sure it's been pretty taxing on him, because he's used to probably Mimi organizing everything and getting everything together. Curtis kind of joked with Steve and told Steve that Steve actually said he's going to go on a vacation when Mimi comes back. So Curtis was kind of joking with Steve and saying that you know, basically, I guess your idea of a trip will probably be a trip to the Louis Vuitton store, because we know that Steve loves his Louis Vuitton apparel. So it was just like an inside joke, but just, you know, man talk, having a good time, chilling, whatever. And we like that. The guys are an intricate part of the show, so we know that they were just having a good time. So they asked King how he was doing. He said that it was okay. He was sort of taking a break with Quad, because, and not a break from the relationship, but he was just saying it was good that she had gotten away, because with all the IVF stuff, it's been very stressful. The hormones, you know, have been hurt. Hormones have been out of whack, and he just seems to be really out of touch with Quad, and they're not at the same place that they were last season. And I wrote down in my notes, I said, no more 15 times a week. So obviously, Quad and King have come out of the honeymoon phase. They're dealing with some real life issues, and it doesn't seem like they are on the same page, but we'll get more into that later. So they go back to the ladies on the boat. Heavenly tries to sort of like, you know, she's kind of like trying to rub up and get close to Simone. So she ends up kissing Simone. You know, Simone, you know, she just kind of played it off, but you can tell Simone really does not want to be bothered with Heavenly. Contessa was so excited. She was like, how do you feel about this connection? Are you open to this? Are you comfortable now? And Simone was like, well, you're asking the wrong person about their level of comfort, because Heavenly was the one basically who said I was unhinged. So Heavenly said, great point taken. But they kept on enjoying their time. I'm glad they didn't get back into it. Simone just kind of moved on. Heavenly moved on. And that's what we needed to see. These girls needed to have some fun. So the guys go back. So I think someone said, well, I wonder what the wives are doing. And Dr. Eugene said they're probably fussing. And so King said that he had talked to Quad while she was packing to come back home. And King said that they had kind of gotten off on Toya. And King said, I was actually taken up for Toya. So Eugene was like, well, what's going on? Why would they be sort of attacking Toya or going after Toya? So King explained to the guys that it was said that Toya really wasn't supportive of Dr. Heavenly during this time. She didn't wear a t-shirt to Heavenly's first congressional I think the first time she had like a rally or just to announce that she was actually running for a congressional seat, and she was supposed to wear a specific t-shirt or something like that, and she didn't wear it. And so that was an issue. So they were kind of getting off on her. So Dr. Damon said that Dr. Heavenly is going to earn the respect of everyone. And even if she doesn't, it's okay with him. But he knows that she's going to do her part to make sure that she represents her state and her that particular precinct or area very, very well. Dr. Eugene sort of piggybacked off of that, but then he also said that, Toya and Heavenly have had a tumultuous time. And so the good thing is that Toya actually showed up. So that really should have been enough, especially at the state where they were. And all the men pretty much, agreed with that. King said, he saw where Damon was coming from. He's trying to be logical about the whole thing, but the women just aren't logical. So that was the end of their scene. So we go back to the women. And the women are talking. They said that they actually wanted to play a game. And so Heavenly said, let's play a political game. Well, that was a little odd, on the boat. Normally they play truth or dare, stuff like that. But, something fun. But Heavenly said, let's play a political game. So what happened is all of the ladies started to ask Heavenly questions concerning her new found political career. So Brandy was the first one, and I'm going to try to go through each one. Brandy asked Heavenly, how does her role being a reality television star affect her, and how is she going to deal with it when people sort of look to her to be a leader, but they only see like the antics that she actually pulls on the show. So Heavenly answered that Heavenly tried to be as, political as possible. She was saying basically she takes it very seriously. She's not here to play games with it. That was pretty much her response to Brandy. Jackie asked Heavenly who was her political mentor. Heavenly came out and said Quad Lunsford. Well, first of all, Quad Lunsford, you mean Quad Webb? Quad is no longer married to Greg Lunsford. So I was surprised that Heavenly said it. It could have been a slip of the tongue, but either way, that was like a little laugh. Everybody got like a little joke off, just a little kiki off of that. But anyway, Jackie said she was looking for Heavenly to more or less say, former Vice President Kamala Harris, or, Representative Jasmine Crockett. But Heavenly said Quad. So Jackie said that answer to her, she threw a little shade. She said basically that answer was not what she expected. And certainly she wouldn't look to Quad to be a political mentor. Angel asked her, how is she qualified? Heavenly says she's run multi-million-dollar businesses. She's had to balance payrolls, do all of that stuff. Plus she's a mom and a wife and a mom. And she said, when you're a wife and a mom, you can pretty much do anything. So that was her response there. Toya never asked anything. And I thought it was really cute and really funny because Toya and Dr. Jackie were sort of having their own little conversation offline. They were kind of like in their own little world. I think Toya must have had a little bag. They were talking about a YSL bag or something like that. So all the while, Heavenly's talking about her political career and talking about all these serious things. Dr. Jackie and Toya were talking about Yves Saint Laurent. And I thought that was just really, really cute when the cameras panned to them having the little side conversation. Toya said that she was bored. Dr. Contessa eventually asked Heavenly, she said, I follow you on multiple platforms, and sometimes you display a lot of anger, and oftentimes when you get angry with people, you will retaliate. How are you going to handle that if someone sort of comes at you during a rally, or when you have a debate, are you going to retaliate? So Heavenly answered, she said she's going to be as passionate as she normally is, but they started playing around with it. Contessa was sort of, they were sort of having their little banter back and forth, and we're just glad that Contessa and Heavenly aren't in the place where they used to be. So overall, great night, great boat ride. The girls seemed to have a good time. They were dancing, twerking, all that. And Contessa said, hey, it was fun. I hope everybody had a great time. Simone said in her confessional, she said the boat ride was great. It was calm because no real conversations were had. And she was 100% right, but we were glad that those other conversations weren't had, because if not, the ladies probably would not have had a great time on this boat. But we're glad that they did. So that was the end of that. So the next scene, the girls are packing up. They're ready to go. Contessa tells them that they're going to have one more brunch. So the ladies sit down to eat. And this is their last day in Miramar. Like I said, it was a successful trip. It was really, really nice. Toya is now in charge of the Met Gala. So while the ladies are sitting down, Toya chooses to actually talk about the Met Gala. She said, basically, I think at that particular time, the Met Gala was supposed to be the following week. She said it was pushed back because she wasn't impressed with the venue. They needed a bigger venue. So now Toya has taken over the Met Gala. And so the ladies were kind of like, okay, they were on board. But you can tell Quad and Heavenly were sort of giving Toya a little pushback about it. Quad said in her confessional that Dr. Jackie wanted to teach Toya a lesson. So basically, whatever pressure Toya is feeling, or whatever she's going through, even if she's struggling to pull everything together, Quad said that Dr. Jackie wanted Toya to feel just that. And so did Quad and Heavenly. They were very upset about how Toya did not contribute over the last couple of years. She did not pay the money that she was supposed to pay. I think it was like $2,500. She didn't do that, and she barely participated. She pretty much just showed up. So while they were talking about that, you could tell that Heavenly and Toya was sort of on the brink of kind of getting into it, but Quad kind of interjected and interrupted that and said, hey, I have some news for you guys. So she started crying. No one really knew why she was crying. But then as time went on, Quad said that the IVF didn't take. She said that the eggs, they really didn't make it to fertilization. And she was really, really, really upset about that. And I understand that. Quad is struggling to get pregnant. She wants to have a baby. It's very difficult when you want children. It's a lifelong dream, or it's a dream that you have for yourself, and you have this vision of what you want your family to be. And when it can't be that, it is very, very gut-wrenching and very heartbreaking. I'm not saying what I think, I'm telling you what I know. So I know that Quad is really going through it. Quad said that she was beating herself up because all the while that Dr. Jackie and Dr. Simone were telling her to freeze her eggs, she refused to do it. And now she's at a place where she wished she had done it, because now the eggs are not being fertilized. But everyone was very, very supportive of her. I don't think the new girls know her journey as much. The veterans of the show, like Dr. Heavenly, Jackie, Simone, Toya, they fully understood. But you could tell that everyone was very, empathetic to her. They were very, compassionate toward her. And I think everyone just tried to tell her, just as a woman, it's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up. And it's easier said than done. But I think they seem to all be very supportive at that time. And I know that's what Quad needed. So that was the end of their trip. We see Mimi go home first. She arrived home, and Steve was overly ecstatic to see her. You can tell that it was like, okay, baby, I'm glad to see you. Now, you know, he's ready to like push the kids off on her. I could tell that he needed a break. Simone came home. Cecil was in the kitchen making a drink as usual. My God, we always just see Cecil used to be obsessed with golf, but now we just see Cecil just making drinks all the time. And I'm like, Cecil, oh my God. I mean, do you do anything else? But he was making a drink. So he said, well, it was something light, but he said, well, I will make it stronger, you know, depending on how this conversation goes and what you tell me about the ladies. And so Simone said, make mine a double shot. So I guess she was going to fill him in on what happened. Dr. Jackie and Toya finally met up. Guys, in 12 seasons, I don't think that Dr. Jackie and Toya have had a scene alone ever. I don't think they've ever filmed together with the scene with just the two of them. Guys, let me know if I missed it. Let me know if it happened and I just forgot all about it, because I've been watching since day one, but I do not remember a scene with Dr. Jackie and Toya being alone. There could have been maybe one other person, but not just them two. But anyway, Toya comes to Dr. Jackie's office. They want to talk about the Met Gala. Toya says she feels the pressure of planning this event. She said the cap for the tickets is going to be 200 people. Jackie was sort of in support of that, and she said she acknowledged that she wasn't a team player in the past. And so Jackie was pretty much, I think if Jackie felt like she wanted to teach Toya a lesson, Jackie is still not going to just let Toya and this whole Met Gala fall by the wayside, because it's something that Dr. Jackie started, and I think she feels like we're going to finish it. So no matter what, she's going to be supportive of Toya through this thing. So Quad and King are in the kitchen. They show Quad and King at her house. And I wrote they're in a bad place. Quad was fixing some food for King. Looks like it was kind of like takeout. Maybe Quad had like chicken or steak, and King had like the fish. And Quad was sort of, you know, being like, you know, a dutiful girlfriend, making sure his food was nice and hot. It was plated. Quad asked him, was it warm enough? She was going to get him a fork. And King she gave him a fork. He was like, this is a baby fork. What am I going to do with this? Quad said, well, you can feed the baby. It was just a little joke. And King said something about, King also got Quad a fork. He said, well, there's no baby on board here. Well, King, that was very, very insensitive. One of the things about Quad, and I will say even for women, period, Quad pretty typically has a good sense of humor. You know, whatever you throw back at Quad, she'll throw it right back at you. Like Quad say, I'm ready for the drag. But you can tell that Quad is very sensitive when it comes to the baby conversations. And he just does not get it. King was very insensitive in that moment to even say that to her. But they go outside to eat. So King was eating his food. He said, tell me about the trip. Quad was talking about how Heavenly came later. Well, King wasn't even interested in that. King said, my fish is almost gone. Basically, get to the good stuff. So Quad was kind of taken aback by that, but she regrouped. And so she said, well, I did tell the ladies, I shared with them about what happened, you know, with the egg retrieval and the fact that they weren't fertilized. And so he said, oh, I'm sure you cried a river. And of course, Quad was taken aback for the second time during that conversation. And I wrote here in bold, you probably can't see it right there. I said, King is mean. The red sirens were going off. I'm talking about those loud ones, not just, I'm talking about those red ones that are big and they're like, those sirens were so loud and they were going off non-stop. Quad and King are just not meant to be together. However they started, it's not how they're ending it, or they're not ending, or they didn't end it that way. He was very insensitive to her. He did try to rebound and say, well, look, I'm just joking around. I know you're strong. I know you'll bounce back. But it was kind of too late. Quad, you could tell Quad's feelings were hurt. He asked her, did she want to continue? Quad said, no, not right now. She said, I think I'm going to take a break. And I think Quad in that moment knew, I'm not only taking a break from trying to retrieve my eggs, but I'm also going to take a break from you and sort of step back, because you already told me you weren't sure if you wanted to do this. Now you're constantly sort of coming at me and making little snide remarks. And I think that just now Quad can't really even handle what King is bringing. Even when they were even in their confessional, Quad actually said, King said, look, this has been taking a toll on our relationship. We focused so much on the baby that we forgot about us. King said that they needed a vacation where they could sort of focus on them. And Quad literally, at the end of their confessional, was mute. She was like, and she just sat there. That's not Quad. Quad always has a comeback. Quad always has a response. Quad always has a rebuttal. Quad always has something to say. So when you see Quad getting quiet, something is wrong. And I think at that moment, she just felt like he's not in this, and she was starting to withdraw herself. So that was it for them, as far as their scene. That was over. The ladies actually did a photo shoot. Dr. Jackie hired Derek Blanks. He's a big time photographer. I know he's very well known in Atlanta, but I'm sure he's done stuff all over the world because he is that good. Every time I see him do a photo shoot, it is phenomenal. So he is a great photographer. So they went to his studio, and she said that she just invited all the veterans of the show. She didn't invite any of the new ladies, which meant Brandy didn't come, Mimi didn't come, and Angel didn't come. Dr. Simone couldn't make it because Dr. Simone was on call at the hospital delivering babies. But Heavenly, Quad, Toya, and Dr. Contessa showed up. So the ladies, Dr. Jackie has her own. She also has a scrubs line. We saw Angel reveal hers, and now Dr. Jackie is revealing hers. Angel's were a little more for the curvy girl. They were pretty tight, very stretchy, very cute. Love those. Jackie's are also very, very cute. Jackie's, you could tell the quality of the fabric is really, really good, very soft. Jackie offered a lot of colors. She even had like a nice terracotta color and also a gray. She also had like a sage green that was almost like a two-piece, like a sweatsuit. So she had some really nice products, and I'm sure that Dr. Jackie's and Angel's scrubs will be very successful. So she used the ladies as her models, and they all look pretty nice. Of course, they all have different personalities. So Dr. Contessa and Quad seem to be very easy to work with. Dr. Heavenly and Toya, not so much. Quad was joking, saying Toya really doesn't have rhythm. We know that Toya is a pretty lady, but she just, everybody's not as photogenic. And I think that was probably the issue with Toya and Heavenly, Dr. Heavenly, but they made it work. So after the photo shoot, once they took the pictures, Toya said she wanted to talk to them. Again, she apologized to them. She wanted to talk about the Met Gala. She apologized to them for being difficult in the past and not working with them. But basically, she is soliciting their help at this moment. She wants to get everything done. She's been under the pressure. The heat is on. They're at the final hour, and they need to get everything done. Quad said, hey, perhaps, the rest of the girls should sit it out, just like Toya did. Let Toya handle it, let her take the heat, and then let the other ladies pick it up last year, because it's always been a group effort, but Toya never wanted to be part of the group, and now she's sort of soliciting all the help from the group. And so Quad called her out about it, which was nothing wrong with that. Quad was 100% right. Toya saying, look, I've turned over a new leaf. I'm apologizing to you. I'm acknowledging it. I can't go backwards, but if we can't stay in the past if we're going to make the event a success. Toya said that she wants Jackie, her and Jackie talked about it, and they're going to sort of make themselves, like the group, a foundation wherein they can get corporate sponsors. So Contessa seemed to be impressed by that, but Heavenly wasn't. Heavenly said, okay, how are we going to do this? Who decided this? We should have had a meeting. I agree with Heavenly. When you have something, when you're deciding something like that, Dr. Jackie and Toya sort of had their own conversation. We saw it because it was filmed. But when you're involving other ladies and you're sort of delegating responsibilities, you do need to have a meeting. So Heavenly was like, it ain't going down like this. I mean, basically, Heavenly's going to throw up the past. Hey, Toya's had bankruptcy. Toya has moved from house to house to house. How in the world is she going to be the CEO of this foundation? How do we trust her with the money? How does she appoint us to positions that we haven't even agreed to? 100% agree with Dr. Heavenly. Toya, you and Dr. Jackie should have had a meeting with the other ladies. So Heavenly pretended to leave at first. She was angry. She even called Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, but they laughed about it. No one took it seriously. Quad went running after Toya. Quad went running after Dr. Heavenly. Quad said, look, come on back in and talk. We'll use this scarf as like the talking point. So when you hold the scarf, you can get off what you need to say, and so on and so forth. Heavenly comes back. Well, Dr. Heavenly decides to drop a bomb. Heavenly's still going off. Her and Toya were kind of going at it at that time. Well, Heavenly said that Dr. Jackie said, and I quote, Toya was so unprofessional and difficult to deal with. Okay. Well, we know that Dr. Jackie said it. We don't have to guess or wonder whether Dr. Jackie said it, because I am 100% sure, even without being in the room, that Dr. Jackie said it. We know that Heavenly gets these ladies comfortable and she gets them to talk. They tell Heavenly how they genuinely feel. But again, like Dr. Contessa said, I don't know why Jackie said anything to Dr. Heavenly, because she should have known that it would come out or it would be brought back up at some point, and it was. Heavenly didn't even spare Jackie this time. So, Jackie, you could tell Jackie's face was kind of like upset. She was trying to recover. She was in denial about it. Heavenly said, no, that's what you said. So Jackie tried to clean it up. Heavenly came back and said, Jackie said, you were laughable. This whole thing of how you're handling it is laughable. So Heavenly said, I'm not going to deal with it. This is a joke. This is not for real. This is not how you do things. This is not professional, and I don't want to be a part of it. So, of course, Heavenly storms off again. Quad leaves, and Toya is kind of arguing with Heavenly as the ladies leave. Dr. Jackie's a little upset because of how it started out great, but Dr. Jackie felt like every time she has a photo shoot, this is what happens. In season 4, Dr. Jackie had a breast cancer awareness photo shoot. Toya and Lisa got into it so bad, and Dr. Jackie was furious. So now Dr. Jackie, she's trying to hold her peace, but you can tell that she is angry with Heavenly. More so for Heavenly, because I think Toya and Quad, and even when they were talking, they were a little more subdued. They were quiet. Not Dr. Heavenly. Dr. Heavenly came in guns a-blazing, and she was going to let them know exactly how she felt, and she did. But Dr. Jackie, you could just tell that she didn't like it, and I'm sure once that scene was over and when they left, I don't know if Dr. Jackie called Heavenly and told her right away, or if Jackie just decided to put Heavenly on ice for a few days and not talk to her at all. Either way, Dr. Jackie was upset, and it went off with her having Derek to take her picture alone while Heavenly was sort of going off in the background. And that was the episode, guys. It was a great episode. Like I said, they are pretty much through their season. We saw previews next week. The ladies and the couples are headed to Jamaica. This is their couples trip. Toya and Eugene are in charge of the couples trip. That should be really, really good. We know that they probably only have about 4 or 5 more episodes to go. Normally when they do the couples trips, they do maybe 3 episodes there, and then I'm sure they'll have another filler episode, and then they'll have the Met Gala, and that will be it for them for the rest of the season. But let me know what you think, guys. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel, and also please share my video. I know sometimes there are times where you may not have seen the show, or one of your friends or someone else hasn't seen the show. Please share my video if you like. I would really appreciate that. And like I said, let me know what you think. I know everyone doesn't like to reply or say anything, but if you have any thoughts about this episode, let me know what you think. How was the episode? How do you feel about, you know, Heavenly dropping that bomb on Jackie? How do you feel about King and Quad? You know, how do you feel about King's attitude toward Quad? Let me know. I would love to read your responses, and I will definitely respond back. So thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate you. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.